Great rising, great rising. Great rising, great rising. We're gonna wait for a few more people to get in. And then we're going to start this lesson. It is a continuation from yesterday's lesson, talking about ancestral veneration. So we're going to talk about how that applies to you and how it affects your journey. Okay. I don't know if people were bored yesterday or not. I don't know, but knowledge is power. And for you to just be doing things just to be doing it and don't know why, or when people like to ask you just to see where you are, do you even know what you're doing? Why are you doing that? You have that information. You know what I'm saying? So, but when two or more are gathered. Great rising, Essence. How are you? Okay, let me pray over this one. Spirit, we thank you for another day. Our creator, our divine, our higher, we are abundantly grateful for every moment, especially the present. Where we are now, I can look back and I can truly say that I've done work to be where I am. I deserve this space. And I thank you for that. I thank you for my growth in my self-esteem and my self-confidence and my self-awareness, and my self-work and my self-worth, my value, who I am. I thank you for that new understanding. It's all love. Please continue to protect us as we try to educate one another, as we try to empower one another, as we try to uplift one another. Continue to guide us on this journey, because we are never alone. Our ancestors are always with us, and we want to send our gratitude for that. It's all love again, and we are so appreciative. Ashe. Great rising, great rising, great rising, great rising. Okay, so today we are going to do part two from yesterday. Something was going on. My whole thing over here had went off, so I had to figure out what was going on. But hopefully you did get the gist of yesterday's lesson, which was to have an understanding that ancestral veneration, it has occurred for many centuries across different cultures, in different religions, on different days, of course, for different things, for different reasons. But with us sitting in the space of the Day of the Dead, or Dias de las Muertes, We want to make sure that we are giving an understanding or getting an understanding of what that is. It's not about us putting on costumes and going and trick-or-treat and knocking on people's door. That's not what it's about. It's supposed to be about your ancestors, and to make sure that they're included. If you have children and they already used to doing trick-or-treat, do trick-or-treat as well. But we want to make sure that we're including them in the celebrations, right? So with the continuing, great rising, with the continuing of that from yesterday, no, I did not save it. If you would like notes or anything like that from it, please text me or DM me, and I'll get it to you, and you can just kind of take your own notes. Okay, so today, like I said yesterday, we were talking about ancestral veneration or ancestral worship, what that is and how it applied to all these different cultures, nationalities. Like none of that matters, okay? No matter where you go in the world, in some form or fashion, they make sure that they pay homage to their ancestors. And before doing my spiritual journey, I didn't know what they meant by that. Now, of course, in remembrance of, RIP, pour out a little liquor, hit the blunt for somebody, stuff like that, but not really having an understanding of what that really means, right? Not really having a steady place to go and do that at, a sacred place to actually meet with them, eat with them, pray with them, it's a whole vibe. So once I started gathering that understanding, I try to teach, especially when it comes to any kind of sessions that I have, and we end up getting into that, because the first thing, especially coming out of church, is what we've been taught, that nothing or no one should come before God, not ourselves, not our children, not our ancestors. We shouldn't be worshiping or giving any kind of offering to them or anything like that. But when we unlearn and relearn, we realize my life now completely consists of my ancestors. These spirits, these people, this bloodline, this is completely a part of my journey, if not the journey itself. Okay, and so I want to give information on that today, just to clarify and connect the two, so you know exactly why yesterday's had to happen, and not only that, how this may and can apply to you and may help your spiritual journey. This the help you need on the path. Ain't nobody else on your path. No one else is there. This is you. This is your path, and you travel it alone. So when you're doing this traveling, love, and we're being guided by spirit, but spirit is still our that's a part of self. So yeah, let me get some spiritual help, at least on that realm. They can kind of assist me with what I need, opening doors, moving things out of the way, and not only that, me healing myself, I know that I'm healing them, things that they weren't sure was a problem. Again, a lot of times, a lot of traumas and things that get passed on to us are things that they don't even know they were a part of when it comes to curses or cycles or whatever. Okay, so again, in honoring that, in this day, we want to make sure we close it out. We want to close it out right. Today is the 2nd, and today is also, again, the Day of the Dead is actually not a Day of the Dead. It is a multi-day. It's a multi-day holiday. So it kicks off the 31st at night, and it's going on into the 2nd. So make sure that you are, whatever you make for dinner, you can put it out, as far as food, if you want to feed them. It's completely up to you. Do whatever feels right for you. Okay? So, what y'all got going on? Great Rise, Asia. Great Rise, Kiara. And Jazz, my love. Great Rising. Okay, so make sure you have your journals. Make sure that you have your journals and a pencil, and an open mind, of course, because again, you're gathering the information so you can then apply it as you see fit to your own journey. Okay, but you make sure that you're doing your own research so you can make sure you have the ins and outs. of, what all it may consist of. Okay. Okay, so our first bullet point will be how ancestors affect us. Okay. How ancestors affect us. Okay. Life is what we make of it. Okay. That's what the saying is. That's how the saying goes, rather. Okay. It is very much so with ancestors as well. Your ancestors can be a source of inspiration, help, and protection, or a source of trouble. Okay. Chaos and obstruction in your life. It is completely up to you. I need y'all to be listening and be aware. Okay, so this is like an intro into even your altar and what you're doing at your altar, who you're putting on your altar, and things of that nature. Okay, okay. Um, Many people have no idea how powerful the hidden influence of their ancestors is on the life they are living. Many of the problems you are having today might be caused by your ancestors or by you not handling them properly. Okay? Y'all with me? Ashe if you with me. I need us to be clear about what we doing. All right? Great rise, Tip. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Because you need your own attention for this. I need you to hear what's happening. Okay. Now, it has been said, okay, say the persistent and unsolvable problems in your life, though not necessarily caused by your ancestors, could easily be overcome with your ancestors' help if only you knew how to contact them and harness the power. Ashe? Okay. Now, when we can there is this saying, okay, like if you don't feed your ancestors, you go hungry. Okay? So that's the root cause of poverty. Not giving to the ancestors. All right. And if we think about society today not honoring the ancestors the way we should, that could be a reason why we deal with things on that level as well. Being hidden away from our history or our actual bloodline, where we come from, the truth of who we are, that disconnects us from our history, that disconnects us from a lot of our ancestors. We aren't able to tap into that power because we don't know. Okay, so as we are healing and doing research, okay, you have to make sure you are doing research on yourself, on your DNA, on your bloodline, where it may go, where it may come from. Okay. We got to make sure that we have the ins and outs of self. So then we're able to actually apply and utilize these unknown powers, these unknown parts that we can actually be tapping into. Yeah, we missing out. We missing out. We missing out. Okay. Awareness is very important. And if I'm giving you the information, now that we know better, we're going to learn, we're going to research, see how this applies to us, if it works for me, and then start to do what you need to do for yourself to reconnect with your ancestors, because that is super important. Okay. Alrighty. Let's say, I feel like that may be the problem when it comes to the poverty situation. If we were aware that if we're giving what we need, we would get that 100, 1,000 times over. Not allowing that to be the reason, but just to keep their memories alive, to keep the traditions alive, to keep that cultural connection, right? So if I'm pouring out to my ancestors, they're going to make ways for me to have whatever I need on this plane. Okay? Having faith in that, having that true belief in that. Okay? So ask yourself honestly, how do you feel when someone says that to you? That, say, a part of the ongoing intentional discrediting of this sacred knowledge. People telling you, and because it's a lot of people still saying that a lot of this sacred knowledge isn't true. This isn't true. People just going crazy. Oh, they on this new stuff. This ain't new. This has been around for ages. This is actually the oldest form of understanding the other side. They had a real, and I'm talking about the collective, not just one culture, because I like to dive into everything. It's truth and everything. You got to go find it, go read it, and then it's all connected. Pay attention. Pay attention. So that's why we're here, honey, to research. Anyway, so when you hear something like, because somebody has taken away all the credit when it comes to our ancestors and what they've done, it disconnects you from what you think you should do to honor them. Do you feel like that has anything to do with your life? If we think about that, if I knew better, if I knew of, giving food or burning incense for them, lighting candles for them, giving them water, giving them wine, giving them fruit, right? If I knew of these things, would my life be different? Would I have participated? And if I had participated, what would my life look like? Seriously, how different would it be? You know what I'm saying? Taking that thought and just throwing it away at the end of the day. I'm asking you that, but I'm just thinking, like, because we're gonna throw that away. Because the point is, we didn't know. So since we didn't know, we're not gonna fault ourselves. We're not just to, feel bad because we didn't know. Because, bitch, you're not finna make me feel bad because I didn't know. Honey, I was raised Church of God in Christ, honey. Wasn't nothing but Jesus, okay? We didn't know nothing about none of that, okay? My grandmama barely talked about her mama and any of that type of stuff. It wasn't a whole lot of, extra stories and stuff like that unless it was around, like, our family reunion time. If it was around that time, you'll hear her telling stories all the time. But as far as her just really diving back and enjoying her childhood and things of that nature, honey, being brought up in the 30s, no, you wasn't excited. It probably was hell. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't really talk about her past. And I didn't ask. Me not, I think I knew more about Harriet Tubman even then than I did my grandmother and her people, But our family ended up doing a DNA thing where we ended up going back all the way back to that slave. And that's how I got a lot of information from my maternal side. So again, we have to do just a little research. And if you have grandmothers who are still alive, God bless you. Love on them. Those are the elders. Those are living ancestors. Those are living ancestors, honey. Go tap in. Spend a little time. It ain't gotta be a whole lot of time. You can do 15, 20 minutes with your grandmama and let her talk shit to you or however she conveys her truth. But allow them that time to pour into you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then we can forget about the what ifs. We ain't got to worry about what if I should have knew. No, I wouldn't know unless somebody told me. And then that's a big ass cycle. That's just a big ass cycle. No, thank you. Anyway, so if we think about the fear-mongering by the media and prosecution by the church, it has led to people forgetting all the traditional, ancestral, passing over rights of their cultures, which in turn has created a huge problem in the astral realm. Okay, so because we have not actually knew anything, because we didn't know and we weren't a part of it, we weren't participating, it keeps us out of alignment. Things may be happening for you, but things are also happening to you. And it's probably more things happening to you than for you. And I'm talking about before awareness. How the struggle may have been. Even if we were stuck, we were in a job and you know what I'm saying? It was still this confinement feeling. It was this feeling of confinement. There is no freedom in that. Okay, so stack your bread, do what you need to do. If you still clocking in for somebody, honey, stack your bread, do what you need to do, but get to a point where you can actually detach, safely for yourself, where life is still handled, whether you have, that check coming in or not, or do some saving, do like 6 months of saving, and I'm being very serious. Do like 6 months of bills saved up. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to that point, honey, try to release that. Try to release that. We don't have time for that. Okay? Because as long as you sit in, I'm telling you, baby, pull it in, pull it in. We're not giving all our time and energy to others. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, so more and more souls are becoming earthbound due to this gross negligence and ignorance about death, the dead, and the truth about our ancestors. Okay, and honestly, it is time for all of us who have that desire for freedom and want to reconnect with our ancestors and our cultural beliefs, the traditions, and just kind of tap back in. And mind you, I'm not telling you to dive into another religion. I'm not telling you to go get initiated somewhere unless that's what your heart is leading you to do. Unless that's what your spirit is leading you to do. Stay in alignment with yourself. But that's not where I'm giving out information. It is up to you to choose what you need to choose for you. Ashe? Okay, so anyway, so when we have that, it is time for us to reconnect with the power of our ancestors so they can protect us in these difficult and troublesome times, and so that they can get healed. And through healing them, we also heal ourselves. Okay? Let me say that again. So they can get healed, and through healing them, we heal ourselves, our families, and from that, a whole society. Because that one person has its own circle. Think about how many people that can touch. And that's the point. That's the purpose. Okay? So, destruction of the Western ancestral traditions. Okay, and we're gonna just dip in here just a little bit, just to give you, a little history lesson real quick of how things changed. Okay, the European people also had their own ancestral traditions, but those were ended with sword and bloodshed and fiery death by the Church of Yahweh or Jesus. Okay, in the so-called witch hunts, which killed off all those who were in higher consciousness, had psychic or healing abilities, or who were devoted to the gods of their fathers and their own people. Okay? Are we hearing that? Are we hearing that? Okay. So these so-called witch hunts, which killed off all those who were in higher consciousness, that's who the witches were. People and midwives, the healers, okay, psychics, and people who were still dabbling in or devoted to their ancestral traditions. Okay, these are the ones who were burned at the stakes. Okay. Again, we if you want to dive into that information, all you got to do is start searching any of the wars of the church, any church, like the church waged wars against the Cathars, who were peaceful people, okay, pious vegetarian people. Okay, these people found the secret of, or had said to have found the secret of the Grail, and who were mercilessly wiped out and burned alive, including women and children and small children, by the agents of evil in sheep's clothing. Do y'all hear this? The church waged a war against the Cathars. Look it up. Cathars. Just for information. And I'm going to leave that part there. Okay, and you just look up any wars that were pushed by the church or the church's agenda. And remember that anything that has anything to do with Christianity all follow under Pope. Okay. Now, who counts as an ancestor? Who's your ancestors? Y'all tell me. Who would count as your ancestors? Essence, who would you count as your ancestors? Are y'all asleep? Ancestors. Who counts as an ancestor? Who counts? Remember, we're talking about those that are dead. I am not an ancestor. Okay? I am not an ancestor. Oh no, I know it was a delay, but I thought it was long enough. I don't know. Right, the ones before you that have gone on, as well as those who may not be tied to your bloodline, but you have a deep spiritual connection to. Okay, so those who have crossed over. Now, the living ancestors, you may have living ancestors, meaning grandmothers, great grandmothers who are still around, and you know that's all well and good, but we're talking about those who have crossed over and how honoring them, showing them love, and including them in our day-to-day can assist us. Okay, yeah, there you go, Jazz, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so you may think of ancestors as only those members of your family that you knew and who have passed on, but this is not so. Anybody of your family line going back countless generations is an ancestor and a potential ally. Okay, you also need to know that an ancestor has the task of helping you. That is what they do, that is what they are there for. It is, in fact, the duty of your ancestors to help and protect you. Okay? So why they not doing their job? If you feel like something and stuff is going on in our life, why do you think they not doing their job? I'll get back to that. Okay. So the greatest truths are always hard to grasp and often kind of two-sided. And so I learned that while the individual soul reincarnates, a small part of it stays on to protect the descendants of its line, thus becoming an ancestor. Not all may be reincarnated, because even in African traditional religions, they believe in that reincarnation idea or ideology. That's a part of their beliefs. Okay, especially if somebody just died and then somebody gives birth, immediately they say that's this person reincarnated, right? Because they starving. What are we giving them? What are you giving them? What are you giving them? Why? Baby, I ain't got no reason to work for you if you're not doing your part. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. Okay, you just got me around. You ain't listening to me. I'm bringing you things and you're not taking it. You know, I put opportunities in front of you and you walk around them, you know, or too fearful to go into them. You don't trust me. We don't spend time together. Our connection is a little shaky, bitch. Okay? Okay, so basically, a part of all your forebears has remained behind to give assistance to their descendants. That is to you and your children, okay, and their children, okay? They still exist in soul form, ready to shower their blessings upon you if only you let them into your life and make an effort to honor them, okay? We have an unbreakable bond with our physical ancestors, the ancestors of flesh and blood who have passed their DNA on to us. With them, we have a special relationship that is always accessible, even if we are not aware of it, okay? This relationship can be strengthened or weakened depending on our action and our attitude. Okay? How does it become weakened? How does that connection become weakened? How does that relationship become weak? Okay? It's when we ignore our ancestors, ignoring them. Okay? If we believe that they dead and gone, or if we even deny them in our own heritage. Okay? So saying somebody like me who I've actually seen DNA reports, I'm a little mixed up. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff in here. So for me to be like, oh, I ain't for no white people, I can't say that. I can't say anything about Native Americans. I have to make sure I'm paying homage in every way possible. And I'm just saying for myself. But if you look into your bloodline, people who've passed away, and then you believe that they are dead, believing that they are dead weakens your connection to them. You know, no, my grandmother is with me, honey, and she told me she was gonna be with me, honey. Now on this earth, before she left, she told me she was going with the Lord. She was ready to go be with the Lord. But honey, since I've walked this path and started doing the work that I do, honey, she told me she ain't never leaving me. She always been here. So it's about our knowledge and us opening our mind. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you are actually putting in the work to create a better relationship, you know, and it's not just about giving them, you could burn some incense, some candle. It could be small things. It can be small things, y'all. Things that don't cost money. Okay? So, when individuals or people lose their ancestral language, when they give up their traditional spiritual traditions, when they forget about their sacred dances, okay, their connection to their ancestry, okay, to their gods, to their divinity, us, bitch, all the things that we need, our power, we give that away when we disconnect from what is ours. Okay? As the connection works through the DNA, it also gets attenuated when the ancestral blood becomes so diluted by mixing with other lineages that little of the original ancestral bloodline remains. So, as far as a DNA situation, me being mixed up, being a lot of different things, okay? So we look at what the majority is, okay? Because that can weaken the connection. If you're not actually pouring in, it save you a little this and it save you a little that, but what are you mostly? Okay, well, pour into that. That's why I connect with my grandmother first and who I know, those that I know first. If I am talking or moving or trying to do any work in my altar, I go with who I know. I build that relationship. I strengthen that relationship. We had a strong relationship on earth, and I tried to make sure that we had a great one now. You know, now that I know. Not because I ain't always been doing it. I didn't know, honey. I was at church, baby. Ooh, okay. So we need to erase that. Again, another thing that we need to unlearn. We need to unlearn that. Okay. Not only are they DNA connected, you know, and even if it's been a watered down, or it is a watered down version because of the lineages being crossed, follow the path. Okay. Stick to the path. Okay. Remember that your DNA is like a receiver. The ancestors broadcast on their specific frequency. You cannot listen to several channels simultaneously. Okay, and that's why I said focus on the one that's the most. Focus on that one. Where did it come from? Where does it go? Because when you do some of those ancestry things, that thing will send you all the way back to West Africa, to Nigeria. You know, going to Nigeria, then I know I'm connected to Yoruba. Do you hear me? Yoruba. There's Ocean River in West Nigeria. Come on. In Nigeria, in West Africa. That's where the Ocean River is. Like, yeah, so it's a complete connection that can come from just understanding what's in your DNA. Ashe? Make sure y'all heard that. Also, your receiver is built to only receive a particular frequency range. So if that deviates too far from your ancestral frequency, then you are incapable of reconnecting with them. Okay? So sometimes it may be people who are so far down the ancestral line that you can't connect with them because that part of your bloodline may have been diluted. Okay, that's a part that has been lost. All right. That's why it is so important to keep our ancestral connection alive and strong. So now, as we're knowing who we know we feel, who we know we work with, we want to make sure that we're speaking that into our children and passing that along. We want to make sure that we're talking to our next generation so they're not afraid of ancestral veneration. Okay, they not worried about what the movies is telling them about having an altar. Okay? Yes. Now be aware, whichever one you choose, you don't want to just choose one that's just fits what you fit to do with my DNA. Okay. And just a little swab, you get a little swab, you know, and keep it pushing. All right. Yeah, I would. Okay. Because through our ancestors, we can connect to the highest spiritual knowledge and higher consciousness. We can even rediscover, let me read that again. Through our ancestors, we can connect to the highest spiritual knowledge and higher consciousness. Okay? We can even rediscover much of our spiritual heritage that was lost in the times of burning and even times before then. Okay? All through connecting with your ancestors. All right? Think about that. The ancestors are here to help and guide us, to move obstacles out of our way, to protect us and watch over us, to teach us the ancient ways. This is where you get that information. How did you know this? How did you know this? And Chrissy, how you know this? Spiritual connection. My ancestors. I don't know. I tell people, I don't know. And I made something up, especially when it comes to being in that kitchen. Both of my grandmothers were cooks. So I can go in the kitchen and make something and they be like, girl, I do not know. I don't know, and I don't have no recipe. Okay? So connect with them. Try to figure out, you know, what how can I build this? How can I strengthen this relationship? What does she like or what did he like? What can I do to show them that I'm aware now? I see them here, you know. Look it up. Work it out. Okay? All right. They love us and they care for us, Ashe. Only an utter fool would spurn the wisdom of the ancestors. But fools there are many on this earth. Okay? All right. So, how do we strengthen the bond? All right. How do we strengthen the bond? Besides avoiding anything that weakens the bond, because that's the first thing. Don't do shit to weaken it. Okay. If we're strengthening it, don't do shit that's gonna be something that's gonna make it worse for you. Okay. And stay away from anything that may weaken it. That's the first thing. Okay. There are things we can actively do to strengthen our connection to our ancestors and to our ancestral group soul. Okay, the ancestral group soul is the oversoul of all people of a particular heritage. Okay, listen. The ancestral group soul is the oversoul of all people of a particular heritage. The ancestral oversoul is a spirit that is very real. You can even visit it, okay, by doing shamanic journeying or meet in meditation. Okay? If you're skillful and lucky enough, that's why practice makes perfect. Okay? That's what Buddha was talking about. Reaching enlightenment. Because there you meet God. You meet listen, y'all. Like Again, completely connected, because this is more so on the African side of spirituality, my resource. Okay, so, and this is exactly what Buddha was talking about. Not as far as ancestral veneration, but how he's meeting and being enlightened and reaching that point of enlightenment, nirvana. Okay. Okay. So um for example, there exists a racial oversoul of all African people, of all Native Americans, all Europeans, etc. That is the clan of your ancestors. Okay? Within the clan, there are subgroups, each of which also have their own group spirit. For example, the African clan has a tribal soul of the Maasai people, the Kikuyu, the Bushmen, or etc. The Native American tribes, such as the Apache or Cheyenne, have their own group souls, and with them, their ancestral heritage and tradition. And generally, these tribes had their own language, which is a frequency again. Everything is energy and frequency. We are part of a beautiful symphony, okay? Each one singing their own individual beautiful tone. But in this orchestra, bitch, we able to harmonize, even sing in different languages and believe in different things, moving, because it's about you. It's about your journey, where you come from, how you pour into yourself, because that's what it's about. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Think about that. So us being, majority of us are, make sure, majority of us are African American, okay? Saying that we are born in America, but derived from Africa somewhere. Whether our people came on the diaspora or on, in slave ships, you know what I'm saying? But either way, they feel like, you come from Africa, okay? But there are some who actually are originally from America, because again, there were black people and Native American people, Hispanics. There were plenty of people on the Americas, okay? The United States, before it being the United States, and they split it all up and did all of this extra shit, had tribes of people, in the mountains, in the deserts. It's the truth. And they decided to do what they did with them, and hence Columbus Day and Thanksgiving. Okay? So each one of these people have their own soul tribe. So they have something that they believe in. Because they are of this, then we lean more towards this. It's the same thing, how they kind of do, they try to do religion. We Christians, so we believe in Jesus Christ. And people say, oh, well, we're Muslim and we believe in Muhammad. Or do you understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. So we thinking about an ancestor who sits above our people who have passed on, or our ancestors of them who have passed on, because that's what it's about. Going back these generations, down the bloodline, back, just to do research to see, okay, what am I connecting to? But if you do, like Carlisa was saying, and just kind of, do a DNA swab and see exactly where your DNA, where does your bloodline flow to? And then we can immediately find that, and we don't have to go through all of them. We can immediately see what the subgroup is, or what that ancestral group soul is. Okay, so for me it would be Yoruban. Okay, so it'd be a Yoruban more so culture before anything else. Okay, so I would try to connect with them on those levels, getting understanding of the Orishas, getting understanding of those connections to my spirit, what it is that I can do to connect with that. How do I build that? How do I strengthen that connection with them? And I'm not necessarily saying you got to be, like I said, initiated or any of that. Again, it's about what you feel will strengthen the connection for you. Okay? So here are some different things that we can do to reconnect with them. Language. Okay, one of the first things that we can do to reconnect with them and your heritage is to learn the language of your ancestors. Okay, so again, we're going back generations. So if we see that your bloodline has or we're majority this or that, okay, what is that tongue, what is that, what is the language that they speak there, and try to learn, even if it's just a little bit. And that's where Ashe comes from. That's where a lot of some of the words that I use or incorporate in my conversations now come from me learning different languages. If you've heard my song, that's also where those come from. Okay, so those are the language of my ancestors. Okay, different things that I found along, and these are the ones that stood out to me. That's what pulled to me. So you should honestly, again, do the work to figure out what works for self. Ashe? Okay. So, and this is, again, if you're not already speaking it, okay? Because some people are completely from here. You probably go far back as 5-6 generations, and you know it's still in the United States, and that's fine too, whatever. But we're talking about as the oversoul, like the group as a whole. Where did it come from? Okay, to connect with that far away ancestor, that's what we're talking about. Okay. So there's a reason why the conquerors who subjugated the proud Native Americans forced them to give up their own language and learn English. Okay, even we don't even have to go as far back as the Native Americans, honey. When they took Hawaii, when Hawaii became a state of the United States, they took their language and then made it against the law for them to speak that in fucking school. They could not walk around speaking their native tongue of Hawaii. Okay? Look it up. Look it up. I don't lie to you. Now, language expresses the group soul. Language expresses the group soul. Write that down. The way of thinking, the traditions, and the values of a people. Taking that away from them is a crime and destroys the soul of a people. So when you're on your journey and you're reconnecting or trying to find a way to reconnect, even if it's just a few words, and you may fall in love with it, you know, and become fluent in it, whatever it is that it is for you. Okay, do all of those things. All right. When you do that, it will please them and open up new areas of your brain, allowing you a wider range of frequency so you can receive messages from your ancestors more easily. Because, baby, everybody didn't speak English. So you could be hearing plenty, but it's in a completely different language. Okay? How are you to translate that if you are not actually diving into it to get the information? You're not deciphering the code, sweetie. You're not deciphering the code. All right. Now, for those who are of mixed heritage, remember the ancestors that you knew personally. Go back with and make sure it's out of love. Remember that every intention, we're pouring love. We're doing this of love. We're moving in light. We're being the best stewards of the power that we are now growing and cultivating and trying to build within ourselves. We're not out here to harm anybody. We need to be clear about that. Okay? We need to be clear about that. All right. But if you are of mixed heritage, again, take on what is comfortable for you. That's the best thing, you know. You just have to tap back into it. Another way to reconnect with them would be sacred dance. Yes, ma'am. And I'm not talking about no Megan Thee Stallion shit. I'm not talking about no knees and all this. That has nothing to do with sacred dancing. But there are some movements, okay, that are similar to those movements that are sacred, okay? And those of you who are a part of House of Divine Feminine and work with us, I know I've told you before, honey, move them hips, work that ass, shake the body, move the body. Dancing is sacred. especially with that intention. Okay? I'm being honest. Okay? Think about this. Dance is a way of communicating with all that is. Okay? It is a form of communication with Mother Earth and also our ancestors. Okay? So when we in here and we moving and we dancing, baby, listen, they are moving and dancing too. Okay? And it's some song Carlisa be playing, and whatever that is, my granny be up. Not my just my granny, her granny, baby. A whole situation. Okay? So it's what that is, all right? So Native Americans have their own tribal dances, Africans have theirs, and Europeans had theirs. Okay? Now you have to dig in to find what they are again. Remember the book Sacred Woman. If you don't know where to go, Sacred Woman has some instruction, has a few dances in there, and actually instructions on how to do them. Okay, you can also look them up, but it is completely up to you. Again, this is your walk. This is your path, bitch. Do what you want to do, okay? But just for a little direction, the Sacred Woman book does have sacred dancing in there. Tink tink. All right. So, just so you know, all right. But you know, do what fits for you. Our reality is based on sacred geometry and sacred sound. Write that down. Your reality is based on sacred geometry and sacred sound. When you chant a particular sound, okay? When you chant a particular sound, and this is when they making like mandalas and stuff. You chant a sound over sand, right? And this is something that they do. Chant a particular sound over a tight membrane covered with sand. And that's the drum. So a drum covered with sand, okay? The particles will arrange themselves in beautiful geometrical shapes and patterns, okay? The patterns of your dances should express your frequency of light, okay? So your dances should be of light, okay? Now, each one is unique. Each one is beautiful, okay? It is, again, all on you. But baby, work that. You better work that shit. It's sacred. It's sacred, honey. Move it, shake it, move it. Now, everybody not a dancer, okay? So, singing. Write that down. Songs of the ancestors, with the ancestors. Singing. Nothing without intention. Okay? Singing is also a way to reconnect with the ancestors. Singing and incorporating music that your ancestors would have liked, okay? Or that they did like already before passing on. Okay, so listening to certain music, and a person may one of your ancestors may cross your mind or something. It may be a whole song that you ain't heard in forever, or a song you've never heard before. May not even be a song. Maybe just be drums. Maybe just chants. Whatever it may be. We gotta tap in. Honey. I hold karaoke just for that reason. And I know it seems, but I do. I incorporate karaoke as a sacred moment for us to express and connect with our ancestors. Okay, we coming in here and we singing. Yeah, we sing. And there might be songs where it's just us and just doing our thing. But there are also times where we are singing songs that are completely connected to. This dog gets on my nerves. Okay, every morning it be the same thing. Every morning. We're completely singing songs that my grandmother would have loved, and maybe even something that was laid on our heart by one of our own ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Because Honey, Carlisa get in here and start singing Betty Wright, baby, and my grandma must be looking. That wasn't her tea. That must be her people. That must be her people. Oh, but we enjoy ourselves, and it be all to pour out and to connect with them, and we do that. Okay, I'm telling you, intention. Okay, music changes something within us. It puts us in touch with the sacred. If it is true music, not discordant electronic trash. Okay, y'all gotta be careful. We're not talking about the electronic, you know, what they be playing in those techno clubs. We ain't talking about that, because that's actually distortion. Girl, if you don't get off of my door. I'm sorry, it's Tuesday, it's trash day, so the trash man is coming down the alley, and I think she's scared, but she better go find somewhere to sit, honey, before I cuss her out. No, ma'am. Okay. Yeah, dubstep, you can't listen. That's distorting my frequency, honey. Don't nobody, they can't connect with you over that. How can we Can't connect with you over that. And remember that sound is also energy. Okay? Energy has frequency. And through frequency and vibration, sound affects reality. Let me say it again. Music is a force much greater than most would believe. Sound is energy. Energy has frequency. Okay? Through frequency and vibration, sound affects reality. Okay? The words and sounds in the songs of your ancestors are a direct expression of their ancestral soul. Okay? And learning them and tuning in, tapping in, honey, heals something that connects you and strengthens something so real. Okay? If Oshun was a girl, shut up, honey. Listen, she is using, but the door is locked. The door locked. She can't do nothing but sit out there and watch these trash people go by. She needs to get off the gas. That's what she needs to do. Okay. Yes, it's healing. That's what music is supposed to do. It's supposed to heal. It's supposed to calm. It's supposed to relax you. And then and then there's some music that's supposed to make you happy. There's some music that's supposed to have you. It's supposed to have you dropping it low. It's supposed to encourage you to dance and move your body. Those are the frequencies that are laid within it. Okay. Now you can even dive into something as new as Jhené Aiko, who lays actual frequencies in there to heal. So yeah, you paying all that money to go to that concert. If you go to see her live, honey, you leaving with some healing. Okay? You're leaving with some healing. All right. Now, another way to connect with our ancestors is poetry. Who knew? Who knew? Okay? Being able to create poetry that is completely intended to heal, okay, to be able to release and not only release and just purge on a beat, but release and heal others too. Okay? Creating sacred poetry, ancestral poetry. That's one. Also, reading old poetry, things that they may have liked. My grandmother loved Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou. Yes, I've been reading poetry for a long time, so it was stuff that she would have me do, recite, learn, and things of that nature. So it was stuff that she would say, oh yeah, this is right here, you need to read this. That Life Ain't Been a Crystal Star, that was one of her favorite poems. So it's been an ongoing thing for me when it comes to my ancestors, my personal path or journey or whatever. Poetry is a great way for us to communicate. Okay, and not only that, for me to reconnect and strengthen our relationship. Okay, So, and then our final thing would be to do your best to make them proud. Okay? Um, doing things with them in mind. Creating a routine that you raise up in the morning and tell them great rising, you know, giving out thanks to them because they are actually the ones who are doing the physical moving on the spiritual realm. Okay, those are the ones who are actually, okay, let me move this out her way because honey, my baby need that. My baby need that. She said that she wanted something like this. She coming down this street. But if you ain't coming down the street, you'll never get the shit they setting out before you. Because you out of a fucking alignment. You done veered over into somebody else's lane. Trying to tap into whatever the hell they got going on. If we focus on our path, on our journey, on our goals, on our ancestors, mind our own motherfucking business, we can actually start to see the synchronicities or the coincidences. People call it that if you want to or whatever, but the signs, the communication, because it's times when I speak this language and you don't. So maybe I'm sending you numbers. Maybe I'm sending you dreams. Maybe I'm sending you a feeling. Okay? So the point is to strengthen that and to build that up so that we're able to recognize when we're being spoken to or through. Okay? Make them proud. Remember, one day you will stand right up in front of them, and honey, what you gonna say? Okay. So, are there any questions? Are there any questions before I give you? Remember, I told y'all yesterday I'm starting with giving y'all 3 affirmations, and I like to do 7 a day. That's just me. So make up your own 4. So I'll give you 3, and you have to make up your own personal 4, okay, to add to your journal for today. If you need a journal prompt for the day, ask yourself, what can I do or what more can I do to strengthen my connection with my ancestors? What more can I do? Because some of us are already doing things. But to make sure that we aren't forgetting them, you know, what more can I do to strengthen my relationship with my ancestors? Questions, comments, concerns? I share my love. I appreciate y'all. Was it informational? Did you get the point of why we had to go through that yesterday? I know, I don't know. This is all informative, okay? And it's to push you to find and connect with you on a deeper level, okay? And if I'm on here just sitting and repeating the things that y'all probably seeing on Instagram all day, what use am I? Like, my spirit say do this, so this is what we're gonna do, you know? And I feel like it was kind of elementary myself. I was just like, okay, I feel like they understand this, but somebody may not. So I had to, you know, go through that play by play of the different cultures and how they venerate their ancestors around the world. And then today to make it completely apply to you and how your spiritual path is ultimately affected by your relationship with your ancestors. And if they are not included, if you are not honoring them, if you are not giving offering, if you are not paying them any mind, any attention, and feeling like, oh, they don't have nothing to do with my life right now, baby, you are sorely mistaken. Okay? And if you're having issues and things of that nature, that's the first place, honey. After dealing with self, yeah. Let me check on my relationship with my ancestors. Let me see if am I neglecting their altar? Maybe the altar is dirty. Okay, maybe their water is dirty. Maybe they need food. Okay, maybe you need to build an altar. Okay, or create a little corner, you know, a place for you to go and meditate and have a conversation with your ancestors, or listen to your ancestors, because meditation is listening, praying is talking. Okay, what more can I do to strengthen my relationship with my ancestors? Correct. Yeah. Create one. Just get you a little nightstand, sit it in the corner, put you some things on there, some little trinkets to remind you of whoever, you know, put or things that person may like, cuz that's more so me. I like to, honey, I got stuff on my altar. I got a piece of tree trunk from Galveston. I have flowers, petals from, every time someone is giving me flowers, I've kept petals from the flowers. Seashells from the ocean, um, um, sand from Hawaii, like things that were given to me, you know, bought for me, spiritual things, you know what I'm saying? Um, I got jars, you know, crystals, water, Florida water, liquor, plants, living and dead. You know, it's up to you, but you can make something that's just a little you know, because mine started with a little table and it grew to that. You know what I mean? So it don't have to, you can start off as small as you want. It could be on top of your dresser, you know? Just put a picture. If you have somebody that you know of, you know, like a direct descendant or something that you feel like you want to try to heal and work with, put them on there first. A candle and incense. Simple, easy peasy. Now, remembering that an altar should have all the elements. Be clear, okay? Earth, fire, water, air. Incense, air. And fire. Feathers, air. Okay? Earth can be the crystals or plants, flowers, that can be earth. Water, the glasses of water. Okay, fire, candles. All right? All right. Again, thank y'all for including House of Divine Feminine into your morning routines. Okay. This is about to get a lot bigger, honey. This has created a desire in me to do something else. So these lives will be coming to a close, but I'm bringing something else that will be so much better. Okay. So you know, just stay tuned. All right. I love y'all and I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Ashe.